Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Hey, Miss Coffee. Hey, James. Hey, Raya. Hey, Zion. Good morning. Good morning. This is your morning reminder to take your medication. Take your little sippy sip and take your medication this morning. I hope everybody has, good coffee this morning. You ready to wake up with the sunshine and smile and be bright and cheery this morning. All right. So I will go with the breaking news, of what happened last night. For all those that was asleep, did not get to catch Lemon. Lemon and Krista are not together anymore so far, unless they change something within the next 30-45 minutes. By what I see, that Lemon said he wishes just Krista well in the future. He wants to leave it where it's at because he don't want no hard feelings, what nothing like that. So that's what he said when he ended his live. Good morning, VS Beautiful. That's what he said when he ended his live last night, that he wishes her nothing but the best. Now, she said on her live last night, she had a panel and it was popping. She had a lot of people over there, that she didn't really feel no type of way when he dropped her, for the money. Somebody paid for her to get down. But then some people was stating, well, if y'all supposed to be in a relationship, how you gonna let somebody pay to get you down? Like you should have like can't nobody pay to get you down kind of thing. That's what the people was saying now. But y'all, if y'all don't know, breaking news, breaking news. Lemon and Krista, they ain't no more. Sweet baby Jesus. If either one of them want to come up here and tell me if they worked it out or not, they can let me know. But that's breaking news. Also breaking news this morning. I got my email, y'all. I don't know how to turn on or do memberships yet. I gotta figure that out. I couldn't find that button, but I did get my thing. So Friday we gonna have a membership party. So Friday's live is going to be a membership party, a congratulations for being a partner, all that stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know how we going to do it yet. I got to figure that out. Because if you play music, they're going to copyright you. And I don't know if that would be such a great thing. I mean, maybe I could find some uncopyrighted stuff to play, y'all. I mean, because you know how they do when you first do it, they still looking at your channel real hardcore, and you don't need to get no strike in your first week or something. But yes, I did get my email. I got my email. It says congratulations. It has my channel name and whatnot. I do have that, so that's a thing. Thank y'all so much for the congratulations. Thank y'all who I'm gonna make sure I do that on the day of the membership to thank everybody who I'm gonna go through there and I'm gonna screenshot all my shares, all my mentions, right? And I'm gonna now I know some people don't mention and they still share, and I don't want them to not feel appreciated too. But I'm gonna go through there. I'm gonna try to write down air name. Y'all know that's gonna be a lot, right? Um, but I do want to say thank you to everybody who's supported me along the way and gave me thank you VS for giving me that push that I needed out that door. Thank you to Hood Table because you've been trying to push me out that door for a while. I don't know if y'all noticed, but the Hood Table been on my butt about it because I wouldn't go live, and she'd be like, "Girl, you need to go live more," and I'd be like, "See, what had happened was in retrospect, I was being lazy, right? I was being lazy, y'all." And so, when the situation happened, and Via said anybody can take it. Well, why couldn't it be me? Right. So, like, I was like, shoot, I've been looking for a time. I don't normally do nothing early in the morning but drink my coffee and wake up. So, thank you, Vias, for giving me that push that I needed out that door. Because, child, I was standing right at the precipice. What you call that? The precipice of the door. I was right there on the edge, right? And I just needed somebody to go, get out that door. Thank you to my beautiful PayPals. But yes, that's breaking news. Okay, with Duchess Kelly Love, I love him forever and ever and ever and ever. Like People don't know that, but I've been knowing Duchess for a long time, and I've always loved me some Duchess. You know what I'm saying? Always have, always will. Um, he may be a little messy boots, but he ain't never been a messy boots to me, and I just love his little tail. He knows it. He knows it. And we also have, in common, he has a dog named Charlie, and my nickname's named Charlie, so I'm always checking on Charlie because I like him. I can't wait till he does his next game show, though. Yeah, he got to do some younger music for me, though, because y'all know some of those people, I didn't even know who they was. And if I did, like, okay, the Boys to Men song he chose was a hard one. Let me explain to you why. That was one of the songs they did when they first came out, right? The album that I know the most is like the one that has The End of the Road, I'll Make Love to You, stuff like that from that album. I think the album cover was The Boys to Men was in blue and black, if I'm not mistaken. I had, or it was like Roman numeral, and it was real. Anyway, I had that album, so I know that one like the back of my hand. But that new stuff, I don't, that old stuff, some of that I don't know, because you got to think, I was a toddler when that came out, maybe elementary on some of it, and some of it I wasn't even born yet. So I would have had to have heard it from somebody else. It's not something I'm rocking every day. Right now, I am stuck in the 80s. So if you notice when he played, like, I did know the In Vogue song. I did know some of the 80s music. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the music that my mom and daddy listened to was 80s music. Because that was when they was teenagers, right? Now, not saying I don't know some, but it's like that thing. If you ain't heard it in a long time, you can't remember it. hmm So, yeah, I was looking like Boo Boo the Fool, but I was having fun, y'all. But yeah, okay. So y'all know that with the Louisiana Red, she did do her live yesterday, right? But I'm gonna give you a shout out, Miss Louisiana Red, and I'm gonna tell you something I think you should have done yesterday. Your live was okay. Yes, it brought numbers to your channel. I get that. But because you didn't have anybody to keep you on point, you didn't really dispel a lot of the rumors, right? You needed somebody to tell you, this happened, this was said, this and this and this, point A, point B, like a great interview, like I would say VS or even Miss Bizarro. VS shouted out to her, Miss Zentel. One of them would have kept you on point. They got great memories. They know a lot of the stuff that's going down. They would have asked you the questions that needed to be cleared up. And because you were going at your own pace, yes, that's a good thing, but sometimes if you want to clear your name and out on these streets, you need somebody to keep you on point, right? You need somebody to say, hey, this is what was said, what's your response to it, right? Just to keep you in a straight line kind of situation. And I would have loved to have seen that interview, because I think that it would have been done professionally. You would have, either if Mrs. Intel did it or VS, regardless of which one did it, they would have kept you on point, kept you on subject. We would have gotten more information. You could have possibly did more with it. Now, I will say that I do know. Well, I mean, I've done set out there. If Miss Red wanted to come over here, she can, Miss Q. If she ever wanted to come over here and clear some things up, I've always had it to where my platform is an equal opportunity. But I just want her to know that because it was not in that format, a lot of things were looked over, right? If she wants to do an interview with anybody, she can. That's her option. But it needs to be in a format to where, like, somebody asks her the questions of what's been said about her, and then she gives her answer, and then we move on to the next topic. Because, like me, it seems like she rambles a lot, and I do the same thing. Hand to God, I do the same thing. Y'all know I do. I will get to rambling, right? But if you're not kept on point, sometimes you'll miss some things, and a lot of things I think were missed yesterday. I think a lot of things, and she did take the live down, and on Mrs. Bizarro's, they were talking about it. Now, some people are stating that you took that live down because you said some heavy things about Miss Dovey that could possibly be considered and Miss Just Read My Book, that it could be considered slander. Now, I will say you do have to be careful sometimes what you say, because words do have meaning, and I don't know if a court system will accept you to take somebody to court for $250. But Miss Red, I'm gonna say this: give her the opportunity to pay you back before you involve the courts. I'm gonna explain to you why. The court costs themselves are going to be more than what you're asking for. Now, is it possible that you could do it in your state, cause her more money if that's your intention? Yes, but at the same time, remember that courts, they're going to charge you. They want their money, right? They do. They want their money. So remember that, just in case you don't want to be, because I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people don't know this, but sometimes people can stretch out legal battles and make you lose a lot of money, and sometimes it ain't worth it. I mean, it's possible. I mean, y'all could do a mediation, you know. Now, I will say that Miss Dovey did say she was going to pay you back. I will say that I heard that I think Miss Louisiana Red only asked for the $250, even though Miss Dovey said, well, see, that's another thing that got confusing yesterday, Miss Catherine. That Miss Red said $250, but Miss Dovey said $370. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, sometimes it's just leave well enough alone, walk away, you know, chalk it up to what it is. But so here's the thing. It's okay, Z Sarah Love. Miss Louisiana Red said $250. Miss Dovey said $370. Okay, so here's the story about the money so everybody can get it straight. When now this, some of this is from Miss Dovey's mouth, some of it's from Miss Louisiana Red's, right? So I don't want to say it's from a specific person. I'm just going to state what was said. So Miss Louisiana Red gave, or was going to give, Miss Dovey $250. Then Miss Dovey asked for an additional $20. Okay, so that would make it $270. All right. Now, a few weeks after she got the money, Miss Louisiana Red said she needed the money back. All of it, not just the $20, but all of it, because something had happened in her home, right? With her boyfriend or with a bill or something like that, right? So that's where the $270 comes in. Then a few weeks later, when Just Read My Book and Miss Dovey were going to court, Dovey needed money for the Uber. She asked Miss Red. Miss Red gave her $100, and in the Cash App it says loan for basically ride or Uber or Lyft or whatever, right? So there goes the extra $100. Now Miss Dovey's stating $370, right? Miss Red is stating $250. Technically, if we want to get real technical about it, if Dovey has proof that the $250 was a gift, and she said that in text message, then technically Miss Dovey only owes her. She specifically asked for the $20 and the $100. So technically Miss Dovey only owes her $120. Now, if Miss Dovey out of good faith gives her the $370, that's her choice. And if Miss Red only wants $250 and they make a decision together, that's all she wants, that's her choice also, right? If she only wants the $250, that's her choice. She did state, though, however, that she knew she wasn't going to get it back. So some people in the streets, this is not Charlie's opinions, these are someone else's. In the streets, people are saying that they don't think Dovey should give her back a thing because she knew she wasn't going to get it anyway. But let's say we go by legal standards. What is considered a loan? Well, the $250 was supposed to be a gift. If she has a text message that says that's a gift, you can't get that back, Miss Red. But now, if she asked you for the $20, right? Asked you specifically for it, and that was considered a loan, that $20 would be a loan. And where you loaned her the $100 for the ride, that would be considered a loan. So then that is the $120 that she technically owes you by, now this is by court, by law, what she owes you. Now, where you ask for it back, the 250, this is the only thing that could catch Miss Dovey up. Where you asked for the 250 back and Miss Dovey agreed to give it back to you, they could then consider it, well, she's going to give it back to her, right? So you got to look at legal legal things when you talk about stuff like that. Legally, how much, I'm actually going to Google that right quick. How much does it cost to go to small claims court? I just really want to know if it's actually worth even taking to small claims court. Because, I mean, there is small claims court for those purposes when you have something under a certain amount, right? But how much would it cost you? Okay, each state has a dollar limit on how much can be sought in a small claims court case. Find out the limit in your state. So, Miss Louisiana, Miss Red, even though she's from Louisiana, she resides, I believe, in Florida right now. The smallest amount is $5,000. So, Miss Red, I don't even think the court would take that into consideration. I'm so sorry to tell you that, but $250, you get what I'm saying, is not enough. I just looked it up online that for her state of Florida, the minimum, they said the limit is the amount of money that you can ask for in small claim court depends on your state. The monetary limits are listed. That may be the max amount, though. I want the minimum amount. So maybe I should look up the minimum amount for, because I want to make sure that you can do this. If you're wanting to do this, I don't want you out here trying to go and, it's going to get thrown out. The minimum asking for small claims courts, and I'm gonna put in Florida because you're in Florida, Miss Red, so that we can see. And Miss Dovey, if you want me to look that up for you, I'll do that too. In Florida, what's the minimum amount that you can ask for? Because I do believe there is a minimum also, 5,000 or less. Okay, so you can, in Florida, you can file a small claims court if the amount is 5,000 or less. So 250 would make that. So there, you can do the small claims court for 250. You can. Small claims are legal actions filed in a county court to settle minor legal disputes where the dollar amount is. So if it was over 5,000, you would have to go to a different court. But because it's under 5,000, you can actually go to small claims court. There is no minimum threshold dollar amount for claims. So there is no minimum. So therefore, yes, you can go to court for that 250. So that means that you can go to small claims court for that 250. I just made sure there was no minimum. That's what I was worried about. Because, sometimes if it's not over $100 for some places, they won't even take the case, right? But there's no minimum in the state of Florida. I don't know if that's for every state. It might be. There may be no minimum for a small claims court. Now, what your court costs are going to be, I'm not. Yeah, you could sue for $1. I've heard about that show. I think that's petty and crazy, but I have heard of people doing it, suing for $1. So, just legally, I wanted to look that up and see what's the amounts that you can, is there a minimum? Is it possible that it will even get past the clerk? Now, I will say you're going to have to go file paperwork, and that's going to cost you some cheese. Now, there's a possibility you could get your money back if you actually sue for, court costs and all that. You can actually add that into the paperwork. I will tell you that. A lot of people don't know that. I'm like that, Miss LaKendra. I don't want to go to court over no $250. Now I might want to, knock a little sense into somebody for $250, but I ain't trying to go to court for no $250 because the court costs themselves driving there, taking time out of my day is probably going to cost me more than, now if it was like $1,000 or something like that, it'd be different. You know what I'm saying? But It depends on how Miss Petty Miss Red wants to be, Miss LaKendra. It really does. It depends on how petty she wants to be. It depends on if she's willing to do that. If she's willing to do that, that's on her, you know. That's Miss Dovey could technically come back. Now I will say this, and Miss Just Read My Book, if they downloaded that video yesterday where you accused them of things, and you could do the same if you know, with Miss Dovey, y'all could go back and forth on slander if y'all wanted to. But here's the thing about slander and defamation, right? You have to prove without a shadow of a doubt that it affected your livelihood, that you lost money based on it. A lot of defamation cases are not won. Let me go ahead and tell you that. It's going to be a hard thing to prove in court. So I'm just letting y'all know that some people are stating that, you know, in the same sense, Miss Dovey and Miss Just Read My Book could take her to court for that. Now, I will say that is something that is harder to prove. Also, where they live in different states, it is going to be hard unless there is, you have to have like a bunch of videos, not just one or two, and a bunch of things of threats, and that they can actually be carried through, right? So let's say somebody threatens me and they're all the way in California and I'm all the way over here, right? I have to prove that they have the means and the way to actually come at me to even get, you know, when people are trying to get these, what is those, protection orders, you have to prove that they can actually carry through with what they're doing, because words are words, right? But you have to prove that they can actually do that, because if you live 6 states away, you know what I'm saying? It's a thing. Now there is a gray area. I mean, it is her money, Miss Catherine. She can do what she wants. You know, I say petty because to me, you know, it's you know, she should give her a moment, see if she's gonna pay her back. Give her, here's another way that she could do it, Miss Catherine. Give her a time limit. Now, Miss Dovey did say that on the phone that she gave her till next year. I would suggest to you, if you're going to take this to court, Miss Red, give her an actual date, a time limit to pay you back this money. Give an actual date. And if by said time date, if you do not give this date, it is open-ended. You have to say it legally out loud. Okay, just saying. That's between y'all. Now, Miss W, you know I like you. Miss Red, I ain't got no problem with you. I'm just saying legally what you need to do if you're gonna do it, right? I think, you know, me, myself, and I, Miss Red should just chalk this up to it is what it is. But if she wants to do it, it's up to her. I'm not saying you should or you should not. This is your choice. You're a grown woman. Can't nobody tell you what to do. Same thing for Miss Dovey. She's a grown lady. Can't nobody tell her what to do. Both women are old enough to be my mama, and I ain't gonna disrespect neither one. Okay, they old enough to be my mama and my grandmama. You know what I'm saying? I will say that is one thing. I myself, no matter how bad I've had it in the past, you can ask people on this apparatus. I have had some really terrible times in the past, right? And I have never asked for a damn thing on these streets. I have never asked for anything from anybody. And let me tell you why. Because a lot of times, money will get in the way. Now, that don't mean that I haven't gifted and they haven't gifted me and so on and so forth. You get what I mean? We do bless each other. We love each other and all that stuff. I'm saying that I didn't go, hey, can you give me $100? I've got a car. No, because I know, here's the thing. At that time, I may have not been able to pay it back. And if I did that, that would make me a bad person. So unless I know for a fact I can pay it back, I am not asking nobody for it. That goes in my real life too, y'all. In my real life. Like, it took my husband when we first got together, right? I wouldn't ask him for nothing, right? Because I was so headstrong that I can do it myself, that he had to teach me had to ask him for help because I didn't know how to do it. I was such a strong woman and did it for so long by myself that I did not know how to do it, y'all. I did not know how to ask my man when I need something because I was so used to doing it alone, right? But that's the thing about being headstrong sometimes. Sometimes you got to know when to do that with someone you love or someone that's, like your husband and stuff like that. I had to learn how to like lean on him sometimes because I didn't know how to do all that. But I'm gonna bring it back to the legal side of things, right? I was looking at that to make sure what can and can't be done because I didn't know. I've never taken anybody to small claims court before. In fact, I don't think I've ever been in a courtroom, but like once in my life because I've never been in trouble like that. You get what I'm saying? So I've also never been sued by anybody because I ain't never gotten to no situation like that. So I had to make sure there wasn't no bare minimum on small claims because I didn't know if there was or wasn't, but I didn't want to give incorrect information. Like I will say a correction the other morning, a couple mornings ago, I did put it on the community wall, but I don't know how many people saw it. I accidentally thought that Miss Tracy and Mr. Noble had a ceasefire when I was wrong. That was just what Mr. Noble was saying. And I accidentally said it as if Miss Tracy agreed. And child, I had to make an apology because sometimes you hear things wrong on these streets, right? And I thought that they had done worked it out when Miss Tracy, I apologize. But I literally charged it to my my heart, not my head. But I was literally dealing with a sick puppy. He is getting better, y'all. For those who want to update on my puppy, basically what had happened, he hurt his shoulder, right? And he's young. He's only just fixing to turn 2. But he had jumped the wrong way or something and he injured his shoulder. So I did doctor him for everything though, child. I wasn't taking no chances. I went ahead and got some wormer and made sure I wormed all the dogs just to make sure that's not something that's possible. Got everything like that. Did all the the precautions so that your animal's gonna be okay, right? So I got him the little chewables and whatnot. I went and got him some children's Motrin for the pain. And I said if he didn't show any improvement within 2 or 3 days, his butt was going to the vet. Well, he did show improvement. Every time he takes some medication, he feels better. Even this morning, he was able to walk up and down the stairs. He's been doing wagging his tail, playing, and being his normal self. So, he is showing improvement, but I'm still having to deal with that because it's going to take him a couple of days to get over the pulled muscle, right? He has a pulled muscle, and it's going to take him a couple of days to heal fully. He is a little man. He's not that big. He's a feist. So it's going to take him a couple of days to heal, but he didn't break anything or nothing like that. So he's fine. I just wanted to give y'all an update on the puppy. Okay. But yes, in a loan situation where she does have that wrote down, you can take, I just didn't know that it had to be, a certain amount. I wanted to make sure, Miss Catherine, I always like to check on things and, yes. If you ever do loan something to someone verbally, or something like that, make sure you have it written down that it is a loan. And verbal, a lot of people don't know, but verbal contracts are still a real thing. But when you do a verbal contract, you do want to have witnesses that are not kin to you, right? Around when you make a verbal contract. A handshake deal is still around, believe it or not. When we moved in the new house, we got a well installed, right? Because we couldn't get city water because they need to update the main out here, the county water. So we got a well. We did a handshake deal with the well guy. And he came and done the work. Now, could we have tried to be dirty with him? Yes, but I wouldn't do that anyway because down here, a lot of people don't know this, but your name means everything. So when you put your name on it and you say you're going to do something, you do what you said you was going to do. right? You don't back out on that. So verbal contracts are really a real thing. I do hate to see them lose their friendship. But at the same time, if both of them are better off separate instead of fighting each other, I would rather them see mutually them go their separate ways. Miss Red do her stuff, Miss Dovey do her stuff. Sometimes for some people it's not meant to be. Now, if they could make up, that would be fine, but I don't know for both of them if it's went too far because you know, Miss Dovey did speak on Miss Red's daughter who supposedly is, and I'm saying supposedly, allegedly, um, is on drugs, and that's why she loves MU like she did. Now, I didn't know that Miss Red came from Miss MU until Pizza told me yesterday. Miss Zentel told me that she came via way of Miss MU, and then because of that, that's how they found Miss Intel, and so on and so forth. I didn't know that. So you know, I didn't know where she had came from. I just know that I saw her over there at Miss Dovey's. That's where I met Miss Red for the first time, was over there at Dovey's. That's what I will say. That's the first time I met the lady and hung out with her. And then when VS was showing who she was, in fact, the first time I saw her was on the podcast. That was the first time I'd ever met. I didn't even know that she was in a situation or anything like that. Yes, Char, that's where she came from. She came via way of MU. I did not know that because I didn't know who the lady was. I was like, oh, who's this nice lady? And then I did go over there, and she does have music lives at night and was having fun and cutting up. And I saw her over there at Miss Dovey's, and you know, I don't know that lady that well. I admit that. She just for me, she just came on the scene. Right now, I will state that you know, this is another precautionary tale of be careful of who you behind the scenes with sometimes, and don't be too trusting. um Somebody, I will say this, whoever you gave your phone number to, Miss Louisiana, is how they found you. I'm going to tell you that. Where you put it in the back chat of Dovey's, do you realize that anybody could have jumped in that back chat for 5 seconds, and if Miss Dovey did not see them, could have wrote down that number and jumped right back down and literally looked that stuff up on the internet? I'm going to give y'all all some internet safety right now. Do not jump up in people's back chats putting your phone number in there, because anybody can jump up there and look at it. If Miss Dovey turned her head for 5 seconds, walked to the kitchen counter and back, somebody could have popped up there, grabbed that phone number, and popped right back down. And you would be none the wiser. Don't put your phone numbers in the back chats. Don't do that. Ask them a way to get in contact with them via email or Instagram or something like that. But don't put your phone numbers and your personal information in these back chats, because anybody could grab them. You don't know. And there are people, girl, Char, let me tell you something about that back chat. You know, they say I'll be in the back chat taking screenshots to be a mole for VS. I'm like, child, I don't care that much. What am I screenshotting? Ain't nothing up there. I don't care. Okay? Stop trying to spread that rumor about me. If you don't like me, just say it. Damn it. I'm just saying. Be real about it. Don't play them games and try to do all that shit. But yeah, I really want people to know, be careful what you sending to people, because you don't never know who you sending what to. Don't put your phone number in no back chat. Yeah, I don't do that. If that was the case, shoot. I mean, first off, what are they saying in the back chats? It's really worth screenshotting. There's nothing back there. And even if they did, it's not worth screenshotting. Oh, what? People are talking in the back chat? Ooh. Ooh. Really? I'm just saying. Be real. Leave me alone. That's what I'm saying, Rod. That's what I'm saying. If you got something to say about me, say it. Just for reals. I get tired of the people that be just picking at me for no apparent reason just because they got a problem with somebody else. Shit. I'm sorry. But anyway, okay, so we had that situation go, right? And now I will say I don't know where the use of, I know that they said that he got money for tires and stuff like that. And then you know, she did tell VS that Yusuf paid her back or something, but why he got brought up when he ain't even been on the streets, he ain't bothered nobody. Like sometimes bringing innocent people into your beef is not cool. Cause so far I ain't heard him say nothing bad about nobody. He ain't even been around. So he been doing his own little thing. You know what I'm saying? Now, I will say that up there on Miss LaKendra, if you hear, why was you and Miss Shawnice getting into what had happened? I missed that part. I saw a little bit of it. I was like lost in the sauce and don't even know why. But I did see Jay Dunn and Just Krista get into it. You know what I'm saying? So that happened on Women's last night. And again, for those that came in a little later, Just Krista and Lemon are supposedly done. We'll see how long that lasts because you know tonight he could change his mind. She could change her mind. You know what I'm saying? They could change their minds. And everything else. So I don't know. He said that the reason he wants to leave it alone was because he don't want, you know, no hurt feelings. He just wants it. He thinks it's best to end it right now before it gets, you know what I'm saying? He wishes her nothing but the best, but to leave it where it's at. That's what I heard. Hey, Queen of Swords. Hey, Kenya. Hey, beautiful. Now, I will say that, Miss Catherine, there is ways to find out people's information without. Here's the thing: every one of us accidentally drop little hints and little things, and accidentally, you know, say too much. Also, if you go into a private chat, there's different ways that people can find you. Just realize that it's simple. The internet. If you post anything on the internet, they can find it. You know, if they really want to, if the person's really good at it, it's crazy what people can do right nowadays. Just I'm just trying to help with as much as possible. But I will say this: if you have any legal background with court documents in there, that is actually public knowledge, and they can find out all of it because you know the Information Act states that anything that goes on in a courtroom is public knowledge. I'm just saying. You see, that's when yeah, their phone started out over someone dropped Krista for $200. It was $200. It was Newbie, wasn't it? Wasn't it Newbiology that dropped her? That sent the super sticker or something, and then somebody else sent something. Was it $200? I thought I didn't see the exact money amount myself, Miss Catherine. I didn't see the exact money amount, but I did see that Newbie did what I heard because you know I couldn't see the super sticker when the chat replay was nothing much. She just wanted okay, Miss LaKendra. I didn't know what happened. I just know you was woo banging last night. But basically, Lemon was sent money to drop Just Krista. Now this is where it gets into the thing of when you start receiving money to drop people or when you start receiving money for certain things, you know, do you give certain people a pass or is everybody, even your friends, your girlfriend, anybody else, can they get got? Right? Because if you're allowing everybody to get bought out, do you have certain people that you don't? Like, let's say you actually have an interview happening, but somebody wants to drop your person that you're interviewing. Do you have to then say drop the person that you're interviewing? Or do you make sure it's known that they can't do that? You know, what are the rules and regulations on all that? Because me, myself, and I'm not going to do that because I want everybody to feel like this is a safe space, and that would take away that safety, if that makes sense, for people to be able to speak their piece and say what they're feeling. If people could just drop them down when they're in the middle of a sentence. That's the reason I don't want to do that, you know? Oh, you believe it was a cash out for 200, and this is why then that's also the reason why Pastor won't do it at all. Yeah, because I mean, Kenny said, "Well, for 200, I'll drop anybody. I'll drop my mom or my cousin. It don't matter who it is. $200. You know what I'm saying? I love you. I'll talk to you later. We might split this money." That's what Kenny said. I made a joke about that, Miss Kenya. I hope you're okay with that. Yeah, it was Noob. I did see Newbie. She sent a super chat, but I think she said to check his cash app or not. But hey, for $200, hey, I'd drop down for a lemon. I'd be like, look, bro, you make that $200, okay? But now I did hear Krista say on her live that she was not upset about that, but then other people in the streets are saying that they don't think it was right because even though a lot of people don't like her and some people do, she's a controversial figure, so some people like her, some people don't, that she should not be able to be dropped because she was his girl. Oh, it was super chats only? See, that's what I thought, Miss O. I just couldn't see the super chats in the replay because I was asleep last night when that all went down. And when I woke up this morning at 7, I rewatched Lemon's Live like I always do every morning. Because I can't sometimes stay up all night. And I saw you, DMSO, over there on Just Krista's. And I did hear when I was watching Lemons and watching the chat replay that people were trying. Oh, yeah, Newbie don't have a cash app. They were trying to state that they were over there at Krista's. They didn't say who. They said they were talking crap. And then I went over there to Just Krista's live. And I didn't really hear y'all talking crap. Now, I believe Lady Dimples had said something, but like I didn't hear you talking crap, DMSO. You know what I'm saying? I didn't hear a lot of people, but I was trying to catch up on both lives this morning. So if I missed anything, I missed something, right? But I technically just saw it as, well, I'm dropped from over there, so I'm going to come over here. And then people were wanting to know what Just Krista's feelings were. And they were trying to figure out, what was going on. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Miss Dimples had some choice words, but didn't nobody else drag as, but nobody dragged or whatnot. So I just saw it as like y'all were having a conversation, right? Yeah, Newbie, I've never heard of her cash app either. So yeah, but I fell asleep. I did. I fell asleep, but and I've heard that for some folks too, that it's just too much for them. It's just too much. But I did see, Just Krista's live, and I didn't see where this, could be a huge issue where it would break them up, but maybe Lemon's just tired, maybe Just Krista and him are going to talk. We don't really know what they're going to say behind the scenes, right? Heck, they could come back tonight and say, we worked it out, y'all. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. He said he done with the situation, but we don't really know. We're going to have to see because, with the baby mama Brina situation, he did give her forgiveness too. So we don't know. Technically, Miss LaKendra, isn't that like us being fair? You were just being fair, in my opinion. But the trolls, that is kind of their job, is to create, confusion in a way. It's, if you really think about it, a lot of like our trolls are bone carriers, right? They go from one to the other. Sometimes they do it to stir up mess. Some of our trolls actually give correct information. You're calling Nubian Warrior a troll? I don't think Newbie's a troll, but that's just me. I like Newbie. I like Nubian Warrior. But, I like a lot of people that a lot of people don't like. I do. Sometimes I'm too kind. But, a lot of times that is a thing that goes back and forth, though, is like you'll see different bones being carried. and you'll see some people say certain things. Sometimes it is to stir the pot. Sometimes they're actually truthful about it. Sometimes it's just in a joking manner. I mean, it just depends. Now, I did see Jay Dunn and Miss Krista get into it and whatnot. I did see that, y'all. And I was like, what? Now, I know that Jay Dunn could have actually went harder because I've seen her do it. I think she was just tapping her in a friendly way. Because I've seen her do a lot worse, and I know that she can drag and toe tag. Miss Krista actually like said it with her chest, and I'm like, say it with your chest then. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I ain't getting in that one. I'm like, Bennett, and I ain't in it. I ain't getting in that one. But I did see that, and I saw and I saw, if y'all didn't see Diva Tomboyish's live, let's just say that Miss Diva made a call yesterday, and yeah, she made a call to, I think it was the area, and she said it with her chest too, and her whole chest, and she was calling about what Jay Dizzle was talking about on her community wall, so that gives y'all a hint. Well, no, I'll just say it. She basically called stating, Ness driving while on live. Basically, I'm gonna say it with my chest. She basically did. She basically did. Don't kick me. Don't beat me up, Diva. I love you. But no, yeah, she did. She made that call yesterday. See, this thing I would share to y'all, Miss Diva Tomboyish, but she does not like to be shared. She will curse you out if you share. She just likes her intimate, small crowds. So she don't like that big stuff. You know what I mean? And so she don't like to be shared out. If you just got to catch her when she's live, you got to turn on your notification bells. All I can tell you, because I ain't fixing to get her mad at me. I'm gonna set my little tail down. And then uh, so that's another thing that's going on. I will say that I did expect Miss Red to do the interview yesterday. And I'm going to tell you something. I believe that would have been a great way for her to do her stuff, but she didn't do it. And, it's up to her. Maybe she's going to leave it alone. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid the mess, child. I'm trying to avoid the mess all I can. I'm trying to stay in my little corner. I'm trying to stay in my little corner. Hey, D Ham. Good morning. I'm trying to stay in my little corner. Now, y'all know we also do what we call Trial Tuesday. And J Dizzle gave me one that she thought that we should go over this morning. That this is something that happened, from Law and Crime Network. It's not too long. And then I'm going to drop the link so everybody, it's only 12 minutes and 22 seconds and we can talk about it. Right? So it's not too long. Let me go ahead and go over here to my present slides. Okay, I had to put that one up there. I got to present my slides, y'all. I forgot to do that before I came in because I was half asleep. I got to do my copyright disclaimer. The copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringement. So basically, we doing this for educational purposes. Okay, we gonna educate the peoples. We gonna have a moment. All right, and then I'm gonna screen share this right here, and we gonna talk about it, y'all.
Officials say a sexual predator who was in lockup for allegedly attacking multiple women was caught on camera scooting his way across the jailhouse floor to allegedly assault another woman. You got to see this video, and we are going to break it down from multiple angles with prison consultant Justin Paperny. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. You got to hear this one. Arizona officials say that an inmate at an intake facility was able to sneak past a deputy and try to sexually assault a woman. Yes. To talk about this, I want to bring in prison consultant and friend of the show, Justin Paperny. Justin, good to see you. First, before we even get into the video, and there is a lot to get into, what are inmate intake facilities? First, walk us through that.
Well, when you're taken into custody, there's a whole process. You are going to get naked, or as they say, squat and cough to make sure you're not smuggling anything in. They'll ask you tons of questions. They'll give you a prison uniform. They'll drug test you. You'll go through a breathalyzer. And after several hours, at times through segregation or sitting in a little hole waiting for them to come back and forth, they'll process you in. And several hours later, there you are sitting in prison. The intake process can be anywhere from an hour to several hours, depending on how many people they're processing.
Okay, so with that in mind, and that was a great setup to talk about this scenario. So this happened back in April, and the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office just released the video. There are multiple camera angles that show us different views of this alleged sneak attack. So first, a little bit of background here. We have 29-year-old Justin Avery. He was at the intake, transfer, and release facility after he allegedly assaulted 5 different women in public places on the Arizona State University campus in Tempe. He was arrested outside of a library because authorities say he didn't have any connection with ASU, but he allegedly used the campus as his hunting grounds. Now, court documents allege that he targeted women at random, mostly in parking garages, groping them. This is according to reports from the victims. One woman says that Avery tried to strangle her, so she ended up kicking him in the groin to get him to stop. Now, Avery appeared before an Arizona judge.
He is a repeat sexual predator, attacking 5 women here. It is just extremely unfortunate that the victims could fight the defendant off to prevent the crimes going to their full extent.
You know what's difficult? You know what's tough? Reading through legal briefs and filings to prepare for sidebar. It's like I'm back in law school. Being told I look like Dennis Reynolds every single time I check the comments. That wears on you. At this point, I think people think he hosts the show. Again, it's tough. But you know what's not difficult? Starting a claim with Morgan & Morgan. How about that transition, by the way? Well, Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, they make the process as easy as possible for their clients, because from starting your claim to uploading documents to talk this situation, specifics of this situation, my gosh, Justin, seems to be a guy that, you don't want on the streets.
You just summed it up beautifully. There are some people.
Okay, so again, before we get into the specifics of this situation, my gosh, Justin, seems to be a guy that, you don't want on the streets.
You just summed it up beautifully. There are some people who are charged and arrested and be able to be given bond to continue to work in the community under supervision. But as I read this, he was charged with sexually assaulting 2 people, then immediately out on bond the next day. So I think it speaks to corrections. Some people should be in the community, some should not. And you could argue there's some culpability with the government allowing him to return to the community. Now, I understand the cost of corrections and that it's very expensive to warehouse people in prison. A lot of these states are broke and they don't want to spend more money than they need to. But if someone is at risk to the community and they've been charged with sexually assaulting people, perhaps some people shouldn't be removed or let go on bond, because guess what? He did it again.
So, with that in mind, Avery's arrested. He's taken to jail. And this surveillance video from inside the intake, transfer, and release facility near the jail is from a few days later. So it's April 17th. So this room is divided into 2 sections. There's a waiting area for women, and then there's another one for men. There's a desk at the dividing line where a deputy sits, supposed to be keeping an eye on things. It's almost 4 in the morning at this point, so a lot of the detainees are trying to sleep. Some are in street clothes, others are in orange jail jumpsuits, and a lot of them have huddled down inside their shirts to try to stay warm or to block out the light. Some are spread out on the floor, and that includes our suspect, Avery. So Avery, as you see in this video, seems to get up off the floor, stretches, appears to wait for one of the deputies to leave the room. Then he sits down and slides out of view of the deputy, allegedly crawling and pushing himself backwards around the desk. He appears to get away with this for a little over a minute as he pushes himself toward a woman in white who's trying to sleep on the floor of the woman's side of the room. Then you have other cameras that give us a view of Avery getting closer to the woman before he appears and allegedly starts to pull his pants down and expose himself. Now, there are other women sitting in the same area. One appears to be asleep on the floor while the other is in a chair. It's unclear from the video if she says something to Avery, but he seems to put his finger to his lips in a be quiet gesture. Court documents say the woman said, "Hey, get off of her," and that's when Avery allegedly shushed her. And that is when the deputy looks up, realizes what's going on, realizes that Avery's on the wrong side of the room, and as soon as he's spotted, Avery appears to stand up, pulling up his pants as he walks away from the woman on the floor. According to court documents, he later admitted he planned to rape her. So the deputy pulls out restraints, has a conversation with Avery for a few seconds before more deputies show up, put the cuffs on him. Avery seems to resist a little bit as they take him to another part of the facility. So, Justin, I am made of questions. First question I have: why were no restraints put on him? Or is that not what happens in these kind of intake facilities?
Sometimes they happen. It would be a discretion of the correctional officer. Clearly, there was a breakdown. Someone didn't think that it was necessary. So that's breakdown number one. We can go on and on. Two, there aren't that many prisoners inside of that detention center, which tells me it shouldn't be that hard to oversee them. Three, you can look to the makeup that you have male prisoners so close to female prisoners. That's fine if they're nonviolent offenders. You'll see that in halfway houses across the country, male and female prisoners inside of the same institution, living 15, 20 feet from one another. But when you have alleged sex offenders so close to women, it's a problem. So I suspect they're going to go through protocols, look at all of these breakdowns, including holding correctional officers accountable. And there does have to be consequences for correctional officers here. Without consequences, Jesse, then it can just continue. It's going to happen again. Someone needs to be held to account. A woman suffered. They're supposed to be protected while inside of detention. And if anything, she's continued to be victimized. And I hope this person who's going to be in prison for quite some time gets some mental health training, some correctional, some benefit, some education on the inside, because it's likely he's not going to get a life sentence if he pleads guilty. There's no chance. So a lot of breakdowns here. It has to be addressed, but there has to be consequences for this correctional officer. If not, people are going to say, this can happen and this person doesn't get fired. I can do just about anything here.
As we're trying to sort out, who's at fault, you could say maybe it was the facility for not properly segregating these different people, and especially if you knew that Avery has this history. But I also want to question the deputy that's in that room. Now, you see Avery allegedly crawling under the desk. He later describes it as spider-like, acting like a spider. Do you put any fault? Who do you put on fault? Do you put any fault on the deputy? Who should we be thinking about is at fault here?
Everyone within that institution. Part of the only thing prisons care about are two things: keeping costs down and security of the institution, right? So responsibility rests with everyone who worked inside of that prison, from the top all the way down. Someone's going to get fired. There have to be consequences here. This prisoner is clearly mentally ill, is unable to see right from wrong, and even in a confined setting looks to continue to victimize, hurt, as he said, was attempting to rape another woman. So responsibility rests with the institution. They know that, and they're fearing for their jobs, and more changes are going to be coming. I mean, this would be different if this was like 1,000 people inside of this institution, but there were very few male and female prisoners there, which tells you it should not be that hard to oversee them at any hour of the day. Huge breakdown, and it has to change.
And he didn't think that there was surveillance cameras looking at what he was. He might have. I mean, again, he might have thought he wouldn't evade detection from.
They don't
the deputy, but yeah.
So when you're ill and you're so obsessed or consumed with continuing to victimize people, and I think I read that he had saw this woman and clearly found her attractive. He's already in prison. He's already looking at a lengthy sentence. Clearly doesn't understand right from wrong. What's the risk if he gets caught? They send him to segregation. Someone he could care less about that. The reward was very much worth the risk, and he might have been studying that prison, looking at the lack of protocols, the breakdown, might have noticed this person kind of goes off the grid or falling asleep at 4 a.m. So if you're conniving or criminal enough, you're going to seize an opportunity, find an opening, even if you're in a detention center. Clearly this person did. And for 90 seconds, he was victimizing this woman. And as you said, could have been successful. Has to be changes.
It's so taking these allegations is true. I mean, it's so diabolical. Allegedly crawling, not to escape, right? Not to escape, which I've seen those cases, but you see someone from across the room and you want to assault them. That's what makes this incredibly nefarious.
Yes, I would agree. And it also speaks to what I said earlier. Should he even have been released into the custody? There are some people who need to remain confined. There are some people like this person who need to be locked up, segregated 23 hours a day. Like Sean Combs in that detention center in Brooklyn, confined, not in general population. This person, no different, confined 23 hours a day, totally separate. Think Hannibal Lecter, for goodness sake. No one can access him or be around him at any time. He is a menace who seeks to hurt and potentially assault and rape women. He should be around no prisoners at any time.
All right, so to put a bow on this, according to Maricopa County court records, Avery was slapped with 2 charges for this incident: attempt to commit sexual assault and also aggravated assault on a corrections employee. He might have been resisting at one point. His case has been continued several times. And by the way, he was previously convicted of shoplifting and disorderly conduct. Justin Paperny, thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it, sir.
Of course.
All right, everybody, that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jesse Weber. Speak to you next time.
So that was a crazy situation, right? He literally just got arrested for the same thing and was in there trying to sneak. Did y'all see him try to spider or crawl across the floor like that? I'm going to go ahead and drop this link and I'm going to pin it for anybody who would like to come up speak about anything that had happened today. You know, that is a crazy situation though, y'all. Let me pin this message. All right, it's pinned at the top of the screen. But yeah, that's a crazy situation. The way he spider crawled on his back to, you know, go assault another lady. Hey, Riot Girl, salute. Hey, Miss Tracy. Hey, everybody that I didn't get to speak to when you came in, Queen Diva. But you know, he literally was spider crawling across the floor, y'all. Spider crawling across the floor to get to that woman. I'm like, good, sweet baby Jesus. Also, shout out Jay Dunn. I did watch the documentary this Monday on her Members Monday. We're gonna talk about the documentary. There's something wrong with Aunt Diane. That's the name of it. You can watch it for free on YouTube, and we're going to be talking about it over there on her Members Monday. If she's going to, you know, she may choose to do it on a different day, but so far she's doing it on Mondays. So, you know, I did watch it. I got my notes. I did all that. You know, so I just wanted to say that right quick. And Jay Dizzle brought this to my attention and whatnot. And the way that he was already charged for things like hay red vines and popcorn, the way that he was already charged with being a deviant, basically, right? An actual deviant, you know. The first word in front of that. And then goes into the jail. And that cop was just sitting there on his fat, lazy tail, was he not? You can't tell me that he couldn't have seen over the right side of that desk where that lady was sitting. And if he can't, they need to move them chairs or have somebody else in there with him and not just him behind the desk sitting there not paying no attention. That poor lady was just trying to sleep, you know, pay her little fines, do what she had to do. Yeah, that's what I call Jay Dunn. She's my Jay Dizzle. But he was just trying to sit there. She was just trying to sit there and sleep until it was her time to see the judge, to see probably if she could pay her way out. Because we don't know what she was in there for, right? Could have been for speeding tickets. It could have been for, jaywalking, whatever. We don't really know what her situation was, right? But we do know that he literally tried to assault her in the jail. Like, you have to be real brave to want to assault somebody in a jail area, in a holding area around all those cops and stuff, right? I mean, think about how brazen he was right there in the middle in front of God and everybody. Like, somebody ain't going to say something. Like ain't nobody gonna see him do it. Yeah, well, Miss Tracy, it was an holding area, and a lot of times they do not do that. But if they knew that he was an offender of that caliber, he should have been held in his own cell, right? And not around other females, knowing he had a problem with females. I believe those kind of areas should just be for people who, like, you got a speeding ticket, or you got brought in because you was jaywalking, or non-violent offenders should be in that area. What he did is considered a violent offender, so in my opinion he should have been in his own holding cell, away from the general public, right? But could you imagine how brazen you would have to be to go up to somebody like that, like to do that within the vicinity of cops? Like, you're sitting here in jail for that, and he didn't think nobody in there was gonna say something. He didn't think nobody in there was gonna say, hey, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? And thank God that one lady was actually awake on that side. Imagine what he could have did to the other lady who was on the left side, who was sleeping. What if everybody on that side was asleep and nobody saw nothing, and them cops didn't get up and check on nobody? He could have actually graped her, right? He could have actually went in and fully graped her and the other ladies too. Thank God that one woman was sitting up and said, hey, what you doing? Get off her. Because if she hadn't have said that, he could have actually, until she started, screaming or something like that, he could have actually gotten somewhere. But to be that brazen, like, think about it. You're that brazen. You're in the middle of a jail area with cops surrounding you everywhere. You got to be pretty brazen to do some stuff like that. You got to be where you ain't afraid of nothing to do some stuff like that. Yeah, he's got to have the thought process to think that nobody's going to say nothing. I'm like, you really, especially something like that, right, Miss O? That people would mind their business about something like that. Now, I do know that I have heard of, some inmates like sneaking cigs or sneaking, something they're not supposed to have within those holding areas if they didn't really fully search them. Now, I'll tell y'all a story. It goes back to the way back in the day. Back in the day, they didn't search everybody properly sometimes. Shoot, my daddy was talking about one time, this was before he even turned 18. He don't have a record or nothing. But before he turned 18, he got taken to the jail once, which my grandma cussed him out for because they thought my daddy was over 18 because he was a big man, right? Like, my dad's 6'5". My dad's a huge guy, right? He's like a huge linebacker type, whatnot. Big guy, right? So they thought that my dad at the time was over 18, but he was not. He was only 17. Back then they couldn't charge you for it as an adult. He basically, okay, so this is what happened. Let me start from the beginning. My dad used to get in to the club with his cousin who was over 18. He was over 21. And my dad, because he looked older, they didn't ID him, right? Because he looked like he was way older than what he was because he was such a big dude. Right. And on the way home from the club, the police pulled him over. Right. And they literally were trying to two-piece his cousin. So he two-pieced the cop. Okay. In today's world, my daddy would have went under the jail for, assault on a police officer. But because back then we talking, in the 80s or something like that, because he was under the age of 18, they couldn't charge him back then, right? This is before they changed all these laws. And so he basically beat the crap out of the cop and would have got away with it too if his cousin was so drunk, because they would have beat him up and ran away. But they got him, right? They took him in. They did not search him as they were supposed to. So he had a bag full of weed back then, and some Mary Jane, and him and the prisoners got high as all get out back then because they didn't search him. I'm just saying. And those was back in those days. They were trying to do something to him, and they didn't realize when they put him in the cells and put him in the jail that he was under the age of 18. And my grandmother literally almost had a field day on them. So yeah, they had no choice but to release him. Now they did charge my cousin. My cousin did get charged. You know, he did get in trouble. He did have to pay some fines and stuff and whatnot. But where they put their hands on my father, he could have literally sued him back then, because back in those days, if you was under a certain age, you know, you couldn't be charged as an adult. That was back in those days. But so nowadays they do search people. So my question is, if you knew he was a violent offender and it was against women, why would you put him in a holding area with women? Where was the protection for those women? Anything could happen. I see a lot of this happen. Now, you see these on these cop shows, right? Where they'll have the women and the men in the same area when they have those little holding areas before they process you. Basically, that's why what they're doing is they're processing you to go in, right? Now, down here, I don't know about y'all's area. Our jail has cells where they put the women in one area, the men in another, and violent offenders get put in a different, they have like single cells for certain violent offenders or people who are acting out. Why wasn't he put in one of those? Because I know they have them, right? Like the drunk tank area and whatnot. Why wasn't he put in there? And how did he get that close to that woman with nobody seeing nothing? Don't they have like cameras in the jail that somebody's always looking at? Like, I know in ours they do, because I've seen the inside. You know what I'm saying? They took us kids when we were, you know, high school age and let us see, you know, how the jail works, what's gonna, you know, if you go down, what, you know, I shadowed a cop once, and they took me through the entire jail. They showed me where the computer room was, what everything looks like, how they handle it, how they do the open the cells and shut them, and, you know, just where the cafeteria and how it's done, you know, just showing you how it works. Don't they have cameras? Was not nobody looking at the cameras to see this dude sneaking by like that? Like, you saw the camera, they have it on camera. Who was not paying attention to the camera at that time? They should have caught him when he was right there by the officer's thing beforehand. I mean, thank God it didn't get as far as it went. It could have went way further. But I mean, you know, that situation is crazy. They knew he was an ex-offender. They did. They knew he was an ex-offender, and they should have put his little butt behind the jail. That's just my opinion. Like, you trying to hurt women, I ain't cool with that. You know what I mean? But as what we've all spoke about today, if anybody has anything they want to add, Miss Louisiana, if you're in the clouds, you can pop in. Miss Dovey, if you're in the clouds, you can pop in. If you want to talk about the Miss O, if you want to tell the situation of where people said you was talking crap when you wasn't, and what your intentions was, you may, you know, you always allowed to hit the link. Everybody is. You know, supposedly I did hear Lemon say at the end of his live that he wishes Krista nothing but the best, but they basically, in his mind, over with. Now, I didn't hear if Krista said anything about that. I don't know if she even knows or if they've spoken this morning. You know, if they're cool. You know, I'm hoping that she's okay, because there's my girl, y'all. There's my girl. Let me make sure it's her though, because, you know, got to make sure somebody may be trying to troll and be Jay Dunn. Is that you, Jay Dunn?
Somebody should have been fired. I didn't hear you say that somebody should have been fired.
All of them should have been fired. What you talking about? And who was watching the cameras? You know they had them cameras.
That's
The
what
white
I
dude
was.
sitting behind the desk should have been fired.
Yeah, the fact that man was there and he didn't hear, because that's my thing too. The dude was sliding and scooting, so he had to be making noise. I mean, can you really just slide across the floor like that and not make a little bit of noise?
What was that cop doing behind the desk? Like, he just looked like he might have been looking at Orrin or something back there, or talking to somebody on the, you know, in a chat room. He wasn't paying attention to nobody. Somebody could have got shanked. There could have been a lot of things went down if he didn't even see that.
Well, it makes me wonder if he didn't have his earbuds in or something. Cause like he didn't hear nothing. That's the part that I don't get, that he didn't hear anything. Now, all the other people I can understand because it seemed like they were sleeping. Because I guess you have to be up in there for like hours and hours at a time waiting on them to find somewhere to place you. So them people was tired. But I thought that was crazy as hell. You got to know that this man got to have a crazy illness. That got to be mental illness. If you already arrested and in custody for that type of assault, and you still trying to do it even while you in custody.
He had to have been brazen as crap, thinking nobody was gonna say nothing to. Thank God for
I
that one
agree.
lady.
But then not only that, the fact that he thought that he was going to be able to have that act on that lady and nobody was going to hear it. So that's weird. All them people up in there, the cop right there, and you really think that you're going to be able to do something to her in front of with all these people?
I agree, because I was sitting there looking, I was like, the minute she wakes up, she's going, even if nobody else saw it, let's say everybody else was asleep, right? She's gonna make noise. She's gonna start screaming. She's gonna start saying, "What are you doing?" Something like that. Did he think he was just gonna get away with it? That she was just gonna sleep through the whole thing?
Right. And one other thing that when I watched that yesterday that made me think is, I mean, I know that we typically really want to be in our right minds at all times, but just imagine the women who get arrested because they are drug abusers. So they are high or they are drunk while they up in that area. You see what I'm saying? Like if they not in their right mind as far as any type of substance, illegal substance, and that's why they there. It just goes to show you want to be in your right mind at all times, especially in jail.
Yeah, because if you think about it, if this could go on in a holding area that you're waiting to get processed, right? A processing area. What else can happen to you if you didn't have your faculties? Like if they allow
Hmm.
this.
Yeah, and then also I think too the reason why I shared it with you because I guess on the one hand, when I think of jails and stuff like that, it's normally you have to watch out for the corrupt cops that will try to have their way with you in there, or you know how women end up getting pregnant by the male cop and all types of weird stuff. But to think that yeah, the inmates could just be doing that, is crazy. So I knew that you said that you was going to be trying to do a true crime segment on Thursday. So when I saw that one, my mind was blown. I didn't even think that that could even be a possibility, but he did it.
Yeah, well, you hear it all the time about inmates getting pregnant by cops. Even down here, I've heard. I've never been in the jail, but I've heard this from other friends of mine who have. For different reasons, that there was a cop at one time that would give the female special privileges and like sneak them cigarettes and stuff. And this goes on all over the world for favors.
Yeah, that's how come a lot of times, even in the jails, the people wind up with drugs and stuff because it's corrupt cops that will sneak it in, put their job on the line to sneak it in, for you right, for favors. And this is how come even in the jail, people are still able to access drugs and things like that.
Yeah, a lot of the cell phones, the drugs and all that, a lot of times are snuck in by a cop, and he is making his money on the side that a lot of people don't know
Mhm.
about. Hey, Miss Liz. But yeah, I seen that in the system like multiple times. Like even if we watch shows that are about it, like Orange is the New Black, right? They had that one inmate that got pregnant by the cop. There was another show where the inmate got pregnant by the cop. He was a corrupt. He was raping the women, and she had to give her
Mhm.
baby up. What show was
Mhm.
that? Oh no, that was the one with that 50 Cent did with Empire, on Empire, about that girl that she was in jail with, that Cookie was in jail with, that she didn't know where her baby was. It was the white cop's baby, and she
Hmm.
was adopted. If you watch Empire, there's a part in it to where she was in jail with this girl, and she got pregnant from grape, and she had to give up her baby, and they asked her who the baby is, and she couldn't even say because, thoughts of retaliation.
Yeah, I watched Empire, but I feel like I only watched the first couple of seasons. I feel like I stopped watching it when Lucius died, or they faked like he died or something, and then I stopped watching after that.
Yeah, there was a lot of drama with cessation in that show, but yeah, I watched it all the way to the end. But yeah, Cookie was trying to help her friend find the child, and she did find the child before, because the girl was still in there, in prison, and she got diagnosed with cancer, so she was going to pass away, and she was trying to find the baby before it happened, and everybody knew that he was corrupt, and she even went to this cop's house after he retired, and asked him what he did with the baby, and said, if you don't tell me what you did, I'm gonna tell everybody what you did. I'm gonna tell your wife and everything. I was like, ooh, child. But his
That's
wife
crazy.
acted oblivious. Like, so that's, not just in TV shows, but in real life, we see this actually happening, that there are these cops that are taking pay. Like, you see it. I saw one in Mississippi not long ago. You remember a while back where that white lady cop helped the inmate escape? And she was like, thought he was her man or something.
Oh, yes. Yeah, and I think he was like in jail for like, I want to say like murder or something. He had like a horrible crime. And they were like going to be Bonnie and Clyde together, where she like snuck him out of the jail and everything.
Yeah, and she ended up getting got.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I know the lady you're talking about.
They have that happen all the time. Like, there was another one not long ago. I forgot what state it was, but we see this quite often, where the female and male, officers are not only sneaking in things for them, but they're also helping sometimes them escape. I'm like, this is not a good thing. And why was that white cop so dang lazy, sitting on his butt, not paying attention, knowing that somebody could have got murdered? It could have been thank God for that one lady who actually spoke out and brought attention, because it could have been worse. What if there was another violent offender in there who wanted to, let's say they both got into an assault situation and wanted to hurt the other person, and they just did it right then and there. It's like they wasn't paying no attention. They only had that one cop in there. Like, with that, there wasn't a whole lot of people, but they should have had at least more than one person in there.
I agree. And I think it just goes to show, especially like in the middle of the night like that, when they are arrested so many people. Yeah, it's up to the police areas to be more diligent with stuff like that.
I just hope the lady that had to deal with that, she doesn't have any, like, because, like, I don't even know if she woke up. They didn't even show if she like woke up to the situation. Like, she could have been, like you said, she could have been on drugs or drinking and been passed out, didn't even know what happened, and now she has to look at herself on the news and all these different things about a guy trying to do that to her. Because I don't even see her wake up at all. Did you?
And they don't even really tell you. But that's my question too. In a case like that, would she be able to sue the police department? I mean, something like that happened to you, would they just let you go?
I'd be trying
be like, girl, I know that we got you up in here because you shoplifted $5 out of Walmart, but after he just abused you like this, you free to go.
See, that's another thing. Did she still get charged for whatever she's going through? Is she still in the jail too? Like, what's going on with that situation? Like, they don't say anything about her. Maybe I need to research that and see if we can find out. I don't even know if they released her name or anything.
No, they didn't. I think they kept everything blurred for her own, for her own privacy. But it's just so many different, questions that I had about what happened after that. But perhaps maybe if I look up that particular criminal, maybe more will come up. But I just was so outdone when I saw that yesterday. I was like, oh my goodness.
It happened in Arizona facility, so maybe I can look that up and we can figure it out. That's
Mhm.
like, I don't know if you caught yesterday's replay, but we were talking about Prince, and Mr. Beasley didn't know that the part about his father and mother in Purple Rain was not true fully, because his dad didn't pass away until he was like old as crap. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm.
But that's the same situation in this situation. Like, you don't know the full story sometimes, and sometimes they don't say it. So I'm going to try to look up right quick. Um, the jail, it's the jail intake in Arizona. Man,
Liz said, "Of course she can sue. This American system is designed to keep you hemmed up. Wake up." Well, I know that she should be able to sue them. It's just a weird situation. Um, but I found myself looking because it's some trial that's happening now. If I go over there to my TV, I keep my TV on court TV, and there is some lady here in Georgia that's on trial. I gotta research that. I think she on trial for killing her husband. I'm like, what? People just be doing the most.
oh, also, still following the situation about the lady who put her husband in the suitcase,
Yeah.
Sarah
Well,
Boone.
we still gotta wait on that because she over there with Milton.
Yeah, she they said that she suffered some kind of major loss. I did see that in on Law and Crime.
Hmm. Hmm.
She's I got a video that they just posted. What was it? October 4th. I think it
Hmm.
has to do with her situation. If you want to watch that right quick, see what's going on, we can do that.
Okay.
I'm
How
gonna go ahead.
long is it?
It's only, hold on, I have to skip past this. But basically, I think with her situation that we're going to have to wait until after Milton and see, because I mean, I did look up more on them what happened with Milton, because it made landfall before they said it would technically, and they had a lot of people in the trailer park area that got injured and hurt because there was actual tornado that spun off from Milton. Um,
Hmm.
there's a lot of reported people who are passed away now in that area. So Milton did do some damage. It did go down to a Cat 1 from a Cat 4, I believe. It went from a Cat 4 to a Cat 1 after it hit landfall. It did do damage. So check on your Florida folk if y'all got people
That's what
in that area.
that's what I was saying that I was gonna do because yeah, they said that it messed up Sarasota real bad. And one of my best friends, she lived here, but she from Sarasota, and her family's still in Sarasota. So I said that I was gonna definitely hit her up today to check on them.
Yeah, it did some extensive damage, and whatnot. But as the Sarah Boone stuff does come out when they do finally do jury selection and all that, I will cover that more. And keep everybody abreast of the situation. I did watch the documentary you told me to, Jay Dunn. I finished it, so I'm ready for Members Monday with you.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I to be honest, I don't watched it. Well, I have this would be my first time. No, this would be my second time watching it this year. But I probably have watched it like 3 times in my life. And so I plan this weekend to kind of just get situated and settled down. And I'm gonna rewatch it because the times that I've watched it before, I never did take the time to take notes. But it seemed like each time that I watch it, I always have some more questions, or some more thoughts about something that I didn't notice the first time around. And so, yeah, I'm happy that you did get to watch it. And I did look on my that post that I put, and it's a couple of people up in the membership that have already seen it, or they said that they were going to watch it too to engage. But I know some people just prefer to just be in the chat instead of clicking the link. But I am looking forward to the discussion because it's just mind blowing.
Yeah, and so I want people to know about your Members Monday. You know what I'm saying? Join the memberships and watch the show. If you can't find it, Jay Dunn does have it on her wall, so y'all can go check that out. It's called, and it's on YouTube, and it's really easy to find. It's called "There's Something Wrong with Aunt Diane," and
Mm-hmm.
it's really good. I watched it. We're gonna talk about it on Jay Dunn's. So don't want to give away none of her stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm happy that you did get a chance to watch it. But I'm just gonna ask you this, not to go into detail, but now you see why I said that it's relevant because of the whole situation that happened with Lemon last week.
Yes, it is very relevant to the situation in the beef sector. You're very correct on that, Jay Dizzle. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and also, girl, when I got you up here, this may be a little messy, but not too messy. Why the crap was just Krista saying it with her chest to you?
Girl, just Krista done lost her damn mind, child. I don't know. If she just make it so easy. She make it so easy to get under her skin. But I do feel like it was contradictory of her. For her, she can get on here and click on links and do interviews and talk about the relationship. But as soon as we wait for Lemon to go live so that we could ask him follow-up questions about his side of the story, she want to shut him down and tell him not to talk. I don't like that. I think that's very controlling of her, and I don't like that at all. Not to mention, she old enough to be his mama, and when she be like, "No, he's not discussing it," it's like she trying to act like his mama. That be pissing me off.
Now, did you see the end of his live this morning? Because I think you might have been asleep. He said that they done.
I gotta catch the end of his live. When I woke up this morning, she was actually over there. She went live on top of him. She went live on top of him, and that's where she was talking about how that he shouldn't have taken the money, but then she said, well, she wanted him to make some money, but she would respect him more if he would have refunded the money instead of taking it. And I'm like, what? Because I distinctly remember her being up there saying, take the money, take the money. He gonna split it with me, take the money. But then over there up on her panel, now she want to be upset talking about, well, she would have respected him more if he wouldn't have taken it, if he would have refunded it. And I'm like, girl, pick one.
Well, that's my thing. Like, he never said that nobody was safe over there. Like, anybody could get bought down, even her. So Lemon does his thing like that. Like, people can get bought down and nobody's safe. Even I know when I go over there, I could get bought down. Same thing. Jay Dunn, how many times you been bought down?
Multiple times. But like I said, she really think that she is like the first lady over there and like that she control things. And I'm like, girl, but you don't. But what I wasn't, this is the thing, how that just went. Because when I got up there asking how much to buy her down, I really wasn't about to pay her down. I just wanted Lemon to put a price tag on her head. That's all I wanted.
You
But the
was
fact
being
that that
messy.
lady, but the fact that that lady just started dropping 50s on him, I was like, what? It just happened so organically and just crazy because I just wanted to know what the price was. Because everybody got a price. That was the point that I was trying to make. Everybody has a price. But then that lady up in the chat just started doing $50 and $50 and $50 and $50. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, they said it was like $200 worth of super chats. And how is he going to refund a super chat, too? I don't, he's not going to be able to refund that amount of super chat. Not to mention YouTube's going to take their cut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that was the conversation too. The fact that that it was super chats that he accepted instead of cash apps. But cash app, super chat, regardless. But she said that she went live on top of him because she thought that she had to be gone for 2 hours, and then she was like, maybe it was for the rest of the night. But she had her own little panel over there. But it's so weird. I'm happy I had went to bed. When I woke up, I saw her panel. But it seemed like people was going back and forth between Lemon's live and her live carrying bones. So I'm gonna have to double check Lemon's live to see what was true and what wasn't.
Yeah, because people, Miss O was over there, and that's why I'd asked her to, if she wanted to pop up and, say her piece. I don't know if she's still here, but there were people carrying bones from her saying that there were people over there talking crap about Lemon and bringing it back to Lemon, and then vice versa. And now I will say that MV got up there and they were saying he was being a little messy because he was popping back and forth. So that's a thing that they said. And then, the only person that has stated that was talking a little crap was Lady Dimples.
Oh yeah, that's a given. And she was mad, but I don't care if she mad because she was over there up on this is trying to dox me, Lemon, ODS, and she forgot about all that. I think it's so funny how people be trying to do shit like that to try to mess with you for real, and then they expect you to just look the other way about it. Fuck all that, girl. Bye.
Well, that's like, with Miss Red when she was time out, when they, Miss Dovey put out there that Miss Red was going to try to dox Tracy, Jay Wilson, and Stump Down. Now, I don't know Stump Down that well, but I do know Tracy and Jay Wilson very well, right? Ain't they already been doxed 11 times?
Yeah, Tracy and Jay Wilson have. Normally when they talk about Jay Wilson, it's probably about his job. Stump Down, I don't think Stump Down done ever been doxxed. From what I knew of, Jay Wilson was said to be the only person that had his information, but then Jay Wilson always denied it. So I don't know.
But that's a whole situation, like, doxing and whatnot. A lot of people out here, it's kind of like if we was in Mean Girls, right? And you had everybody in the stands, and it would be like, how many people on here have been doxed? Raise your hand. And there would be like a whole crowd of people just raising their hand.
Right. Because they done been around so long, definitely, but Stomp Down didn't come around until probably like 2021 or something. And so that's why I think that he been able to be under wraps. But for some reason I feel like he do be on the phone with like Vivian, which I'm like, if he be on the phone with Vivian, then Jay Wilson gotta know his information.
Well,
But
I think the reason Miss Red got upset about it is because if you watch, he had a live to where he was talking about Picture Gate, right? Where supposedly Miss Red has a picture of K-Fit's son, scantily clad. They were talking about it over there. So maybe that's why she got mad at him, because of that live, because people were up in arms about it. Like, I don't have a problem with nobody, but I do believe that, when you're mad, you're going to say some stuff sometimes that you may. Now, she did say on that live that she didn't have anything against VS or whatnot, but I still say that she should have did an interview type thing for that situation, because she didn't stay on like topic, if that makes sense, or answer some of the questions that people were wanting to know. So, she did do a live. Hey, D-Miss, is that you? Let me add the stage. Let me do this. Just make sure, because, there's trolls out here. Is that you, beautiful?
It's me.
Hi. So,
Hey.
what had happened over there? I didn't get to catch all of Krista's.
good morning,
Right?
Jimmy.
Good morning, Jake. Well, she went live right after. I was hoping because I said, I know this OG stuff. I know BBW know what to do. And so I was like, shit, if you ain't gonna at least go live and get your response, bitch, y'all even open up mine. I'm trying hard not to do it. And she said, she didn't say nothing in the chat because I came in at the end. I didn't see the whole live of lemons. So I got caught up based on their summaries and all of that and going back and looking. And then so all of a sudden I was talking to Nina in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep because I've been having my sleep schedule turning around ever since Taylor Port fucking Tuesday. Anyway, so we was up and I said, girl, look at you, girl. I was like, Lord, and she done put the StreamYard link for the live even store. Oh, Crystal finna perform, bitch. So, because me and Nina been having to cackle. The reason why we been light about it is because I'm hoping, I still got a glimmer of hope. I know Jay Dunn don't say nothing. I got a glimmer of hope that it's a wink at the end of this. And the move she made announcing her new nighttime plans, I think I'm still got a glimmer of hope left. Jake, don't steal my joy. Don't steal my joy.
What you mean so that she could try to be a competition to Lennon?
He's not going to be competition. But going in it the whole time, I was thinking, I wasn't even, of course, I never be as harsh as some of y'all been about it, because I mean, it ain't my business. I don't give a fuck. And I know that it's working for both of them. And I feel like Lemon is not getting the brunt of some of this. But for different reasons, it's working for both of them. But I knew, I was hoping that some of the stuff that I wasn't, the crying and the looking like not saying shit to some of the stunts. Like, I mean, okay, at some point, it's fine to go with it and you love it and having fun. Like, I be having fun with the guys sometimes. But then there's a limit. And I was hoping that at least if it was some kind of way to gain a following or get some people over to her or get some sympathy catches, whatever, I don't care what it is, that would have been a lot better than what I've been witnessing for the past, month. So I've been hoping that it was I knew what I was gonna do, slide and take a few customers. I can't take a lot of them because I know I do something different. And then when
Mm-hmm.
it's time for me to perform and go to town, because I was thinking, oh, we finna get the camera, we finna get a box of Kleenex and all that over dramatic stuff. That would have been all I needed to like let go of the little things I kind of have held back over the whole time. But I didn't get all of that. But I still got the, oh, okay. She wanted us to hurry up and tear up. She kind of didn't even want us to talk about it. She wanted to talk about her new plans for the channel, inviting some of her trucker community. So James always said BBW know what to do. And so I was just hoping that that's, at least you got that out of it, because so far it is so unbalanced as far as the rewards.
This my thing. You know, prior to all of this, I didn't give her a hard time like what I did. Um, but it was one night up on Limits where she got up in her bag and called me a bitch. I really think that she thought that I was somebody that she could just talk all over just because I be over there. And when she started doing that, my gloves were off. So I don't wish anything bad on her. I don't wish anything good for her. If she's gonna do competition with Lemon, it would be interesting to see, how that turns out. What I did see was, yeah, a lot of the people that can't stand Lemon was going over there.
Well, it was actually a lot of neutral people, and some people even pro limit, and some people just trolling, like envying people like that. And Ghetto came over, like I had got down to a point, but when I got back up and seen the parts I missed, I was like, when Ghetto came over there, that's when it really was. He was pissed because he was looking at it like that's one of his daughter's age and chastising Krista for even doing the thing. I just feel like it came up, and I feel like if I'm all right with it, I have no problems. I mean, that y'all have y'all comments here. I don't argue with y'all because I'm not arguing about nobody else's shit, and I don't feel that passionate about it. But the one thing I will say, and I told him in his face, everything I said is just Christmas. I was willing to repeat the limit. But I'm not gonna take everything on the side if I don't agree with it. So y'all want me to be serious? I'm talking girlfriend, and it's not gonna always be favorable for Lemon, but at the same time, that's where my, whatever you call it, lies. I don't want to say the wrong word because they'll say, ooh, but whatever. That's where my past lies. So I'm gonna have some grace, a little bit more, trying to play the thing instead of just saying this is a man thing, because I still don't take it seriously. I believe it came up for a prime time for Lemon to deflect when some
Mm-hmm.
things weren't going their way. I believe that Just Krista just likes to do this whole Just Krista thing, this vampy, this character, and maybe she was getting her fulfillment and enjoying herself. So I was like, okay, I see two people not necessarily writing a script, but something coming up at a convenient time and both benefit, maybe in one more than the other. And I still feel like Lemon benefited more than the other. And that's on her if she didn't take advantage of the cash ups and other things that maybe by going at him would have done. But I don't believe that I believe Lemon knew what he was doing, and all this shame on you stuff. Lemon also would. They acting like he was groomed. Like, come on, y'all. This ain't even no long. They ain't even seen each other. He ain't smelled the pussy. Acting like he was groomed and like treating this like a perp type situation. I'm like, where's the accountability for Lemon? He gets in relationships that are never going to maybe he needs to do therapy about that. That are never going to materialize. Put it like that. That there's
Well,
barriers, a whole lot of
I
barriers.
wouldn't say that it was a grooming situation, but what I will say is I still do side eye her because she said it out her own mouth that she has been got closer to him because of the death of his brother and the anniversary about his brother and all that. And I think that's very opportunistic. I think that
Yeah, I can
right
see
there is
that.
also what turned my opinion of her and made me more relentless, because that, even though that's not the same as grooming, it is still predatory, almost as if you are trying to prey on somebody in their moment of weakness or in their time of need. And I don't like that either. That's not a good character look to me.
Right, but I'm trying to think about what would be the benefit from her, and it can be someplace simple as intrinsic, like and not the lady intrinsic, y'all, but it's like like a internal thing where it's whatever mental health thing, whatever thing that you have, because you got to be receiving something from something for it to be a deal. So since they're not in person and not physical, and it's not monetary, so she is still getting something. But I also wonder, okay, is that easier for me to accept that when I'm going through something, and also people are questioning something that hurt my brand? So kind of even though this looks ridiculous, it's still in, whatever. And then there's somebody brought up a theory on Just Crystal. And I want to ask Jay Dunn what she thinks about it, because I heard about it after I went, and I'm glad I kind of did so I could think about it without opening my mouth first. What she feels like, okay, they got the baby mama Brina and kind
Hmm.
of dragons at certain times. So Just Crystal felt
Hmm.
like last night with her other people that any woman in that position, because of the type of platform and brand and these women with entitlement over limit, won't work out. And this is just an example of that. That y'all won't let him have a girl. His fans like him better single.
I disagree with that. I don't care what Lemon do up on the application, to be honest. Now I will say that it might be other people like his Avatar Nation people that may have an opinion, but then I doubt it because it was very much known when he used to flirt with Terry P back in the day, and I don't think that anybody had no issue with it. Oh, and because you said intrinsic name, I thought about something else that I had meant to say that probably nobody caught. Well, me and the people in VS chat. Maybe Charlie saw, I don't know. So when VS was doing her live yesterday with Dovey now, well with Dovey, somebody up in VS thing had gifted a gang of memberships. And I'm just sitting there looking at my phone, just listening to Dovey, and all of a sudden, when they gift those memberships, it pulled people out the bushes. Why in the hell Intrinsic got one of them gifted memberships over there on VS's? Meanwhile, Ness was over there about to run over a little baby and to get ready with me. I'm like, now ain't you supposed to be over there moderating for Ness and making sure that she don't have to keep looking down at her phone while she driving? But you too busy over here with VS instead, and you done got gifted a membership. Then whenever I called her out, I typed her name up in the chat. I think she blocked me because now I can't see in the chat no more. I said, don't block me out the chat because I saw you get gifted a membership when you were supposed to be over there working as a finesse now.
Woo-wee. I didn't see that she got gifted it, but I will say this: you have to be subscribed to said person and turn on, or at least have. Now, sometimes it'll turn on automatically, but you have to have typed in the chat and all that. And when you
Hmm.
unsubscribe, I think it does make it to where you can't get gifted a membership, and it does pick people at random. And I have been gifted memberships in places that I haven't been before. But if you typed her name in chat and you added her, she had to be there because I can't add somebody that's not there.
Not only that, she had to be there as well for her to block me because she was gifted that membership. I saw Intrinsic No Love was gifted a membership. And when I typed her name to let her know that I saw her, then the next thing I knew, I scrolled up to see all the 10 memberships who all got gifted the 10 memberships, and I could only see 9 of them, and her name was gone. So
Ooh,
in order for her to block me in the chat, then she had to have been in there. You see
that
what
is
I'm
very
saying?
true. Yes, because how would she know what you said if she wasn't there?
Correct. And that's why I'm like, but what you doing over here listening to VS and Dove? Ain't you supposed to be over there watching this try to fix her damn face and hide that lip for the day?
Jay Dunn, I was just
Oh, I
taking a
want to be
drink. You
messy,
almost
Jay
made me
Dunn. I want
choke.
to be messy. Jay Dunn, I want to be messy. The
What?
live that you missed, that you stood me up for when I said it for Taylor Port Tuesday, waiting for you. Um, Even though you didn't tell me you was coming, it's just that I feel like you should know enough. Look for me and come keep me company. But anyway,
Uh-huh.
QI was character assassinating you, and we got in a back and forth, and she accused some things, and I'm just like, well, whatever you say, the difference is that's my friend and you're not. So we went back and forth, and then she goes say, just went on a little road, just like, and it ain't, I ain't blaming Michelle and alcohol doing all these hateful things, and I'm like, y'all just jealous because they done the inaugural lesbian over here. Like, let's go. And I was like, and I told Jay, listen, you was an inaugural lesbian over here. And I'm like, is this hate? Like, and why y'all can't work together? But I was like, what is this like back and forth? And she just saying taking all these little swipes with you on the darn platform on Teleport Tuesday. And she can't be blaming it on the alcohol because she always drinking. But I was like, okay, I can't wait to report back to Jay Dunn that when the cat's away, the mice will play.
Yeah, and I have to catch the replay. So what QI problem is, and I
I'll
don't give
find
a
you the
damn.
minute mark because she made me mad. I'll
Okay,
find you the minute mark.
yes, do that, please. So QI is upset because for that mantle over there, um, I was talking with ODS and King Roman News about me potentially, and I was just really just talking shit and joking with them. I don't care to be a part of a committed panel or anything like that. It was just a joke. But QI wanted to throw herself up in it. And I'm like, girl, enough is enough. Can I please do something on my own in peace? I'm sick of her. I'm sick of this heat. I'm sick of all of them. Anytime that I want to do something, then now they want to do it. You want to try to come. And I'm like, stop. Because honestly, for the mantle, I don't believe that QI has had enough lesbian experience to even be in the running to be on the mantle. Because QI barely had one lesbian
Oh,
experience
she
under her
told us that
belt.
she get plenty of pussy. She told us that that she know what you talking about. She get plenty of pussy, child.
That's a that's a damn lie. Have you seen QI looking like a damn gremlin? And not to mention, she's still in damn Mississippi. Now, see, QI could tell y'all that because y'all ain't never lived in Mississippi before. Girl, I done lived in Mississippi. The pussy is scarce out there. She lying.
Well, maybe she importing the coochie, Jada.
Important the coochie.
Hell, VS had to import her ass. How in the hell she got money to import pussy to Mississippi when she had to get on the train and VS had to get her over there to her? QI is still just lying and just broke, and especially the part of Mississippi that she in. Mm-mm, it ain't too much to choose from. I would be shocked if there is even a gay club where QI is, because even when I lived in Mississippi, I used to have to drive all the way to Gulfport to get to a gay bar, and it was none but white women when I went. None but white women.
We know
You're
you
not
like the
wrong.
chocolate, Jada.
I do, but I say all
Oh,
that
I
to
picked
say
that
you
up when
would.
I first came, baby. I said, "Oh, Jada like the chocolate, baby." She, and I already picked that up. I couldn't have got close to you if I didn't see that, because I always gotta have people around me that admire me in some way. So but
And that is
anyway.
true. But yeah, so even just to go to a gay club, you looking at QI probably looking at having to drive about an hour or two away. I refuse to believe that she just got pussy at her fingertip. She a lie. She a lie.
Well, yeah. I mean, she might meet her another like person who's somewhere, I don't know, mid state, maybe Iowa, Oklahoma, and they could come together out of scarcity sakes. But either way, and white women might be, she might be putting a few down out of scarcity taxes. At that point when the lights go off, child.
When when the lights go off, you don't notice she white. But
Right.
it and that's one thing. QI can't remember.
Charlie, this
I'm
is all
from
in love, Charlie, because I be feeling so funny saying this stuff with you.
Girl, I'm laughing so hard over here. You almost got me choked on my drink.
Wait, but QI love to run around here talk about she from the black conscious community. She better not be on these platforms talk about the black conscious community and all this, that, and the third, and she over there getting white puss because that's the only thing that's in Mississippi.
Ooh, that sounds like an investigative report, Jay Dunn. Is that notebook filled up already?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. But yeah, she knew better. If I had been awake, I would have had got up there and sparred with her. But girl, I was tired. I was tired, child. And so I couldn't even. I couldn't even give QI no energy.
I said, don't you get more accomplished with coming together on the common cause? Q. I told her that one time before. I was like, because y'all could do such great things around here, and y'all know I'm gonna support it. If they done involved, we're definitely gonna support it. So it's like, instead of just having this competition, because there really ain't none, y'all move around separately, respectfully, but separately. So it's not no need for no competition or who was here first versus who was the OG lesbian. She ain't like that conversation that Jay and Pastors when I was saying, no, Jay Dunn is not really a lesbian. And Pastor said, oh, really? I was like, yes, you think about it. And I was like, and they all, come under her. And I was like, you're going to respect the position. And so QI don't like that because she trying to claim whatever. And I said, well, J Dunn was here before QI, but child, I ain't getting into that. I said, okay, whatever, QI. Does it really matter?
I was here before QI, and that's another thing too that I think that done tick QI off, but I don't care because I compare Shakim to QI. Because if we're gonna keep it all the
Oh,
way
okay.
real, QI didn't come out the closet until she was 28 years old.
Oh,
Shakim
really?
out the closet
She
now at
came that
29.
late? Oh, okay. So she was delayed.
Yes, and that's
Okay.
and that's why I told her that she don't have the experience as a lesbian to be a part of the mantle. You didn't even come out until you was 28, which means you was still dealing with men. Not to mention you was still stuck in Mississippi where it hardly ain't no lesbians to choose from unless you want a white one. QI supposed to be this hotel black power type person, so I know QI of all people ain't sneaking around with the snow bunnies in Mississippi. So again, if you're not sneaking around with the snow bunnies, then who have you slept with outside of VX?
I do believe, regardless of my feelings about whoever involved in it, I do believe the men deserve to have their own thing. And I think it's a good idea if it's going to be centered around LGBTQIA things that they do alternate you out for like the perspective because a lot of times the woman voice is muted in the whole movement anyway. It's a patriarchal society, even in the LGBTQIA activism stuff. So I think it's cool to have that as a correspondent and to make that, that option. But I don't think we need to confuse it with two different people because then it looks like y'all both on the same agenda, but y'all are different people. I just think that's just too much. I think she should start something else and just support that panel because we do a lot of women focused things around here and they support us. So just support that. Of course, I'll be over there the weeks that you correspond, and not much, but probably around that. And I think she just need to create something that's cute. I'm supposed to be so creative, but all this time she been here, she ain't shown me nothing but the graphics she did for TSCC.
Correct. And not only that, QI is boring. She don't believe that she boring, but she is. She don't bring no pizzazz to the panel. She don't bring nothing. She always want to go to this long drawn out history lesson about shit that we don't give a damn about. She always want to tell us about the black conscious community and the fact that she is an Indian from the damn Natchez Trail and all this bull mess. She just be talking a lot of stuff. Even over there on King Roman News, somebody clicked the link and said, no, not QI. I think it was Miss Toby that was like, no, I came here to speak for the chat, not QI, not QI. They don't want her. She
It
mad.
is based on the sub, the people. The people are one gonna be watching, so you gotta the people, or at least do your own thing, create a buzz, and the people might ask for you to come over. Hey, why don't y'all invite? You never know how to get things like that. Sometimes if you start doing your own thing, sometimes people stuff will align later on. It just might not be right now. So just get people like
Yeah.
passion about your own thing. That sometimes encourages people. So.
Yeah, so that's
But
all.
I get
QI
that she
just
don't
a
want. I
little
get Jay Dunn. She feels left out though. You have to be honest, Jay Dunn. People, even though you the one everybody loves to hate, the most question I get asked behind the fact is Nina white or that you are lying. Nina is white. Is why in the hell do you associate with Jay Dunn? Why in the hell you let Jay Dunn do this, that? I have to have a T-shirt. I think I'm gonna make me a T-shirt with the reason why Jay Dunn is not a villain to me, and then at the end of it put, and I still don't give a fuck what you say because I have to answer this question, and I can see how. But even with all of that she sees that you are embraced more. And it's not just about the monetary stuff, it's other stuff. So there's probably a feeling of isolation. And think about I don't even know how she walks around her hair, her how. Well, I do. I mean, I've been through a lot too. But that whole situation with B is forever going to be over her. So it's like, I think she might feels like she can tell people don't fuck with her. As soon as she comes on the link, she starts saying, I don't know, y'all don't want me up here. And I'm like, well, don't lead with that. I think she just feels left out and on the sidelines. But I really think her best bet is to come back over. Now, Charlie, VS might be in there. VS, don't choke on your 10 sugar coffee. But I think that QI should go over there and be under your tutelage, because I think that's her last chance to at least make something pop. And I think that she should be over there under your tutelage. That's what I think.
VS said Q Daddy can't go. Would VS be calling that girl Q Daddy? VS said
I
Q
think
Daddy
that
can't
she
come
was the
home.
most. I saw her the most
She's
alive. VS used to try to make her talk, like make her take. It was so sad. Like you forget, he was a Patreon video. Like make her do, get her to do on her platform. She even VS was even giving her instruction when she left to go against her, and everybody was coming to the channel, and she let her rock for a little bit. She was even damn giving her instruction, fighting her, trying to tell her what to do, and she doing it wrong, and they gonna leave you. Like, and she wasn't even listening because she was so enjoying the attention she got from Fire and everybody else wanting to support her, that she didn't seize that moment enough, because she could have had something. She might not have had 500 people, but she could be walking around with a comfortable 80 to 120, and those people get paid too.
yeah, well, I know VS said Q Daddy can't come back home. And I think that's what Q Daddy mad about too. But I don't know. QI get over it. She gonna get over it. She just got a bruised ego. QI think because she 57 years old that she pull rank over me, and she don't. She don't.
Yeah, she, I have, like the other day she did. Now I will, and I told her, I said, calm down. She's not. Via still love me. Via still love me. I said, girl, calm down, calm down. You gonna get cursed out again.
And she do it. She be over there getting drunk over there for the Teleport Tuesday. And that's another thing, because QI act like she can't even have a balanced conversation without being drunk. And not only that, just to see how she be acting a fool for the most part. Whenever she is over there up on lemons. Don't nobody want to deal with that. Hell, before they let QI be on the mantle to rotate with me, I'd rather them let Lady Nika get up there so she could do her QI impression. She sounds just like her.
That impression did kill me, Jay Dunn, when she did that. I was laughing, and I don't have a problem myself with QI. You know what I'm saying? Me and her, we cool, we all right, we straight. She never said nothing to me, in a terrible way. But I will say that I do see what you're talking about in the streets. People, some people love you and some people don't like you, Jay Dunn. You're controversial because you say it like it is, right? But I do see a lot of people in the chats when she's up there on Taylorport Tuesday drunk saying, oh man, not this again, or man, QI, get down. Like there'll be people in the chat saying, read the room, get down. You're over talking, you're too overzealous. Calm down, let people talk. I don't know if she knows how to mute.
She don't. The mute button, I don't think that the mute button works on her phone. It definitely don't work on her StreamYard. And then also she think it's cute when she be up there slurring and stuff and interrupting. She think that's really cute. And like I said, for her to be knocking on 60's door like she is, that's unacceptable. She better get it together.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like if they ever, if you did it, oh, hold on, let me re-add. There you go, Miss. They let's say that you did do a lesbian panel again. It's your choice on who you put on your platform. They can't make you put anybody you don't want.
I know, and that's the problem too. Because Q, I know damn well if I started the lesbian panel, she could try to build her own lesbian panel to compete against me, and I will win 100%. So, but even I can build a lesbian panel and not even need QI. QI is just not needed. She needs to go sit down and retire.
Also, a lot of people didn't know that you actually
Yeah,
did a
she think, and
lesbian
she
panel
told
in the
me that her
past.
and VS was friends. QI has a
Yeah,
distorted version of reality because she thinks that VS is her best friend. She told me they best friend. That's her best friend.
Wait, look at Moxie up in the chat. Moxie up in the chat. Moxie said the plane never lands. See, where she be like, "Let me land this plane. Let me land this plane. Let me land this plane." Moxie said the plane never lands, and you got that damn right. She be getting on my nerves. But we did do a lesbian panel, and back then that was QI's creation. And so, I was on the panel with QI, and even still, I made it pretty entertaining back then. And the difference is it ain't 2018 no more. At that particular time, QI had somewhat of some clout because of VS, but only because of VS. That's it. But did nobody know who the hell QI was except for that she used to be over there on the Mess Express. That's all they knew.
Wasn't DC Cop on that panel too?
The lesbian panel, no, DC Kool-Aid was with us.
Yeah, DC Kool-Aid.
People
I
get
forgot.
them
And Lisa is
confused.
her partner, right? Isn't Lisa her
Yeah.
partner? Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
her and Lisa married. So yeah, DC Kool-Aid was on that lesbian panel with us. D Cop, because it was QI panel, I don't know why QI didn't end up adding D Cop to it. But it ended up being a cooler panel with me, QI, DC Kool-Aid, and BB Nice. And like, even if I wanted to revive the lesbian panel again, I know BB and DC probably would be down for it. And then the Queen Pisces, that's a person that just recently started hitting links, if I'm not mistaken. She said that she would be a part of it. And I
Yeah,
think
she
that
been
would
here
be
for
a
a long
fresh.
time, but she didn't hit links but until now. Yeah.
Yeah, and she said that she would be a part of it. So again, that would be four solid people that we probably could have some very entertaining discussions about lesbianism. And QI is just mad because she not needed.
Who on the gentleman thing where they were talking about, with I think it was KRN and ODS, right? That was talking about doing that panel and then you being in a rotation with them.
Yes.
I think that would be a good thing because you have two male perspectives and a female perspective from the lesbian and the gay man, perspectives. I don't know if they wanted to add a trans lady to it or a trans man to it. We have a few of those running around. I don't know if they want that because some of those are controversial. You know what I mean? But to have like a roundabout panel, I think that would be good. And Jay Dunn, you do like watch almost everything in your brain the way that it works. You know what I'm saying? You pay attention a lot better than some other people do. Like me, myself, and I, sometimes my ADHD be messing up and I get stuff wrong. I swear. But Jay Dunn be remembering something from 15 years ago, child. No, I'm just kidding.
He sure do. I'll be doing my lives, and Jay Dunn will be right coming. She be first. If she busy, she'll tell me something and get me on the history track. But if not, baby, Jay Dunn just come over there and be like, "D Miss So," and she'll fill me all in the gas and making sure my shit was on track. And I have my cheat code. Even the chat said, I said, "Hold on, chat, I'm getting intel." They said, Jay Dunn finna tell you the correct way of the story. We know. Go on ahead.
That's the crazy thing. Now, with that, I think they calling this a mantle because they really want it to be just all men. The only reason why I even mentioned about doing anything, it was a joke, but then also I knew that that's gonna piss off Ness. Remember, Ness is taking pride in having her platinum panel without me on it. So I'm like, well, bitch, I
She
ain't
was
gotta be
so
up on
mad at
yours.
us. Oh God, she was mad at us.
Well, like, bitch, I ain't gotta be on your platinum panel. I'm about to be on the mantle. So that's all it was.
You know what kills me about y'all two though? One minute y'all be at it, the next minute y'all be alright, then y'all be at it again, and I'm like, you know what? I'm staying out of this. I'm like Bennett, and I ain't in it.
No, and that's the thing. I know how to get under their skin. I don't foresee us being like cool like we used to be. I don't foresee it at all. Because Ness was doing some underhanded shit with Shakim. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. So that's my thing about that.
I think a lot of people feel that she threw a lot of people away for Shakim, and I'm gonna say this. He's all right. No, I don't have a problem with Tiny Ups. I like picking at him. Don't get me wrong. He is who he is. But I think a lot of people are upset that the fact that it looks like she's thrown a lot of her beef sector, YouTube ships away for him. And what value does he really bring?
Yeah, not only that, remember me and Ness had that deal where I was supposed to be able to be over there up to September. And she reneged. When you renege on the deal playing with my money, fuck you, hoe. And I'm gonna make sure that I be your every bit of your competition.
Jadon said, but it's better have my money. Don't act like you don't owe me.
She don't owe me nothing. She don't owe me nothing except for to sit here and take everything that I'm handing to her. Like y'all, the fact that she done almost killed the person in her car every single day this week. That's crazy. Like stop trying to run over people.
Well, I know that Diva ain't playing around with that. I'm just saying. Woo! I was all up in her bushes.
What Diva doing?
Diva done called the people in her area about the driving, if you see something, you got to say something kind of situation, mandated reporter, about Ness driving around while on live.
And Ness almost ran over a little boy. And Diva called and reported it to the police. And then she also called them yesterday evening when Ness was coming home from work on the live to let them know that she was driving home on the live.
Yeah, Diva, that I love me some Diva, and that's I would share it to y'all to go over there and see, but Diva don't like shares. That's what I've said it, previously. She does not like shares, and so I don't do that. So I just say you have to turn on your notification. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't trying to get in trouble.
Not only that, with her, she don't like shares, but then she don't always keep her video up that long either.
So you better get in there when you see that notification go off. She's been doing that for a long time now, though. But I will say this: she ain't playing, and that's something about Diva. When she says she's gonna do something, she does it. I've been watching it go down. And I'm gonna say this: that could happen to anybody who is driving while on camera. So I get it, Demiso. I get it. You driving, you on your way home. Hey, Miss Dovey. Good morning. Hey, Miss Shilly. Hey, Moxie. I didn't get to say hey to y'all earlier. I'm so sorry. Hey, Conscious Energy. I didn't get to say.
Yeah, Charlie, I'm about to drop off here too, so I could go ahead and get back started with my day. But I just wanted to come up here to holler at you about that clip that you played, that cop clip. And then I stayed up here for a little bit longer just so that it was a good little flow that me, you, and Demiso had. But I'm about to drop on down now.
You have a good day, Jada. Thank you for coming up, love.
Okay, you're welcome. You too.
Hey.
All right, bye.
Thank you, Miss O, for coming up this morning. Thank you to everybody in the chat. I will say that, yes, I did get my monetization. So I am trying to figure out how to do the members thing because I don't know all that, I'm learning as I go, just like everybody else does. So I did get my monetization. I'm very close to having the full monetization, everything at once. That is a thing. I will say, I want to say right now a prayer for Miss Tracy. She did have a situation in her family to where a baby got hurt. And Miss Tracy, we're keeping your family and everything in our prayers. I'm so sorry. The thing that's behind it is that a puppy, some dogs mauled the baby, and the baby's not here with us anymore. So prayers for Miss Tracy and her family at this moment. If everybody could just say a little prayer, and there's not much you can do but pray for peace and hope that they're okay. This is going to be a situation that is not going to be easy to get over, right? Because this is a child we're talking about. We were talking about this the other day about how it is harder sometimes. I saw this in the street for a parent to lose a child. Children are, you never, as a parent, you expect to lose, or as an adult, you expect to lose your parents eventually, right? But you never expect to outlive your own child. I thank God, and knocking on wood, I've never had to deal with that, but I have seen the after effects of that, because as I've stated, I've lost brothers and sisters. So I've seen what my parents have been through with that. And it can be 20, 30 years and you still never get over that. And especially in this way, this was not like something that was natural. This is something that happened in a really crazy way. So you can imagine the feelings of this family right now. So we're going to take a time out. We're going to say a little prayer for Miss Tracy. Miss Tracy, dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today to pray for Miss Tracy's family and the people that are going through this right now. We pray that you put your loving hands on them and you help them with the strength that they need for this, that you help them through this pain that they're going through, and that you make sure all the people that are affected by Milton right now and all the loss that has happened with that also. Dear Heavenly Father, we pray for those today that might need you more than us. In your name we say amen. I know not everybody in this sector are Christians. I get that. And so if that is not something, you can skip over that part right quick. I know not everybody is, but for myself and, others who are, I want you to be able to, say a prayer today for those also with Hurricane Milton, because Hurricane Milton did do quite an extensive damage when it hit landfall to some places. There's people in flooding, people without power right now. It says right here, I'm sitting here reading, it says the storm briefly died down, but is now just really popping up. And then that's in there's a tree in Braddington. There are trees that are uprooted, and water from the river boardwalk is gushing in like the ocean. The water is rising around his knees. Cooper said his team will be moving to higher ground. In Sarasota, there have been a fair amount of destruction, and concerns loom as to what damage storm surges may bring. In St. Petersburg, Tampa, they did have what I'm looking at right now. I'm scrolling, and this is for anybody who is affected by Milton right now, that they had the eye of the storm moved away from Tampa Bay towards Orlando. That was 10 hours ago. It's already off in the ocean now. It moved in faster than technically reported it did. It said fatalities were reported from a tornado at Mobile Home Retirement Community in St. Lucia County, Florida. I think I said that. St. Lucia. I think that's the name of that one. I hope I didn't say it wrong. Fatalities are reported as a tornado ripped through the mobile home community in St. Lucia County on Florida's eastern coast. The county sheriff told CNN around 200 people from the state and local agencies are searching for people trapped at the retirement community where the tornado left a path of destruction, he said. He added that the search and rescue teams are facing 50-mile-per-hour winds and rain as they look for those who may be stuck. While the only fatalities appeared to be in the retirement community, hundreds of homes were completely totaled by tornadoes across the county. Pearson said, including a 10,000 square foot storage facility the sheriff's department uses for emergency equipment. It did weaken to a Cat 1, but they're having flooding, people without power. Can y'all hear my dogs? They're just cutting up in there. I'm so sorry about that, y'all. But they did have a lot of destruction, so we want to pray for those people today. Anybody who is affected, anybody who had to go through it. Miss Intel, she's fine. She's okay. She's actually live right now. I was going to do that before we end. See who's all live. Miss Tracy is live. Miss Intel's, what I can see from her, says, I'm good, y'all, just don't have power. So Mrs. Intel is without power. There's a lot of people without it. Chris, and then Miss Tracy said, Krista, I just listened to the live, and VS ain't playing. That's what Tracy's title states. So I'm telling y'all all who is live right now so you can choose for yourself who to go to. So right now, Mrs. Intel is live. What it shows to me, Miss Tracy, the good putty cat, and that is who it's showing right now, who is live. If y'all want to go to Mrs. Intel or Mrs. Tracy, y'all can. I did try to make that correction, Miss Tracy, that I accidentally did say that y'all had a ceasefire with Noble, and I was wrong. So I had to eat crow and apologize because I thought that they had. But so we have those people that are live right now. I want to thank everybody that's been here. Tomorrow we will be having the party. I do have to figure out what's going on with the how to turn on memberships and whatnot. I got to figure that out in my studio. I want to thank you all for being here today. I hope you all have an amazing day. Please pray for those affected by Milton right now. Florida did get hit pretty hard, not once. They had the one before, then the second one, because even we got affected a little bit by the first one, but Milton did not affect Mississippi whatsoever in my area. Now, I'm not saying in my area. I live up north. We did not get affected at all. But pray for those who may be without power today and all those things. Please let us know, if you're from Florida, that you're okay. If you're from the affected areas, that you're okay. Because, we care about our community over here. And thank you all for being here. Have a very blessed day. I will see y'all on these streets.
I'm from the TUPELO. I'm reppin' my hood, so love I'm gon' show from the TUPELO. I'm reppin' my hood to the day that I go from the TUPELO. I'm reppin' my hood, so love I'm gon' show from the TUPELO. I'm ripping my hood to the day that I go.
I'm from the west side, we don't need no introduction. This was the best ride. We all big boy rolling and holding. Come take a test drive. Hilldale, Evergreen, Glenkirk, Adder Street.